Hey, what's going on, everyone? Been a little bit since my last video, but be going over the market in this one again, and I'll be going over mainly crypto, but I'll have gold, the VIX, IWM. Maybe I'll put the SPY in there, but they're all going to follow relatively the same. IWM, S&P, Nasdaq, so on. So we'll just get started right into this. I'm going to start off with the VIX, all right, and I have a weekly chart up here, and I have these fractals. So the blue one is a 5 year, and then the other two are a 20 and 30 year fractal. All right, so going back 5 years to 2020, 20 years to '05, and then 30 years to '95. This is what we have, and you can see there is some correlation here. So in the beginning of year or Q2, early Q2 of 2025, and as also you can see on the fractals, late Q1 or early Q2, there was a peak for the VIX, all right, and then a drop off for a majority of the year. And now we can see here it's actually picking back up again, ever so slightly. Um, and I'm expecting a peak between October 20th through November 3rd. Okay, so end of November, early or end of October, early November. I'm expecting a peak in the VIX, and then for it to drop off going into the rest of Q4, which which would mean that risk assets are likely to find a low in the end of October and early November, and continuation of the the overall uptrend that the indices and risk assets have been in for quite a while now. All right, and if we do get a peak here in this time period, potential level I'm looking for is between 25 and 30. This red zone here, main reason being is because if you look at the 5 year fractal, and a lot of things have been following the 5 year fractals across the board in crypto, stocks. It's really interesting. The peak here matched up with the peak in Q3. So that's why I have the red box there. 25 to 30. It could go past that. I don't know. And none of this is financial advice, obviously. It could go past this time period for all I know. But this is what I'm looking for on the VIX. It's, I think, a more probable side of things as well. If you go down to the daily, a little more technical side of things, on Market Cipher B, the momentum waves are extremely high. And I actually wrote a journal entry to myself last week about the VIX, and I will pull it up really quick from my notebook. So October 11th, 2025, 6:18 p.m. VIX needs to stay below 23.8 or 0.8. So there's black level here, but it might rise and hit a rejection point in this zone. Um, but the really nice thing would be if it stays under 23. But if it goes over so slightly, uh, it just creates more opportunity, all right, for the long side on risk assets. Um, and so market cipher B momentum waves 80 through 110 is the rejection point, and currently it's around 89.64. So it's in there. Um, and then the money flow 18 to 30, it was at 13 at the time of writing that. And money flow now is at 23. So we're getting close to a rejection point, I think, soon on the VIX, but it could take another week or two. We have to see how it plays out. Uh, but it's lining up so far. All right. Uh, probably it probably means a little more choppiness in risk assets for a little bit, but not too long. All right, and then I'll go into the IWM. So this is Russell 2000 futures, and just looking at the 5 year again, and I'll pull up the EMAs because it's still an uptrend. All the EMAs are rising. This is the daily. It's hit new highs. It's trying to break out of a multi-year all-time high level. Um, but there's nothing. I don't see anything bearish about that, especially with the EMAs rising and everything. So going off the 5 year, yes, we could potentially be due for a little choppiness on IWM here soon, but I wouldn't try and play the short game here on it. Uh, I would just wait until this time period comes up between October 28th and November 4th to look for long and ride that to the end of the year. All right. It could be higher from here, it could be lower from here. I don't know. That's what I would do. Um, but overall, the trajectory is higher to the end of the year, going off the 5 year, and the trend is still up. So it supports. Okay. And I have this green zone here for the key period to that's a good area of interest of a turning point. Uh, one for the 5 year fractal here. And also, if you just, I'm going to hide it really quick just to get this off the screen. And I'll turn off the EMAs as well, clean it up a bit. The daily squarings. So go from the starting point of the April low. You can't square 1 or 0, but you can square 2. So 4 bars out, right? It actually might be a weekly squaring, but you can do this on any time frame, weekly or daily. So there's a squaring of 2, that's 4 out. Then from the 4 out, you go squaring of 3, it's 9, 16, 25, so on and so forth. Okay. And we can see here that for the dotted squarings, so the solid black here is a 50% pretty much like an in between of squarings. All right. But go looking at the dotted, we can see each time it's had a little bit of red after for a few days. Okay. Um, or just one day there, but a few days here. Most of the time, it's been like 2 to 3 days. So that's why I have this time period here between October 28th and the 4th. Okay, and then you pair that with the 5 year fractal, and it looks pretty damn good. So, and that's confluence with the VIX as well. So it's interesting how it correlates. All right, we're just going to have to wait and see if it plays out. All right, and then gold. So this is gold futures. I have two gold charts. So this is the gold futures chart I have on the daily. And so since September, it's been following a pattern of the drawdowns being the downs, the bottom ones here, and then the upside moves are the top bars, sections there. So it's been like 2 4 bars. There's 1 3 bar in there. That's all right. It's in between 2 and 4. For me, that was fine. And then on the upside, it was just 2 or 1. Now, uh, October 8th through October 9th, there was a change. Right? There was 1 bar down, and since the 1 bar down, it's been 5 up. This could go to 6, it could go to 7, but right now, gold has not found a rejection yet. So it's just 5 bars up. That's a big change from 2 and 1 on the upside. Okay, and then 1 was a change from 3 and 4, 1 2 on the downside. So maybe an overbalance of time and price change and trend could be coming soon for gold. And I do know that a lot of higher time frame, like RSI oscillators, are overbought. They could stay overbought, obviously, but looking at the daily, it's coming through too close to a 4236 level. Um, I am expecting gold to have some sort of chill out period for a little bit soon. Uh, I don't know when, but soon is my idea. Um, this cycle with crypto, whenever gold has chilled out, that's when crypto has a little bit of fun. Um, so we'll get into crypto here in a sec, but it kind of lines up with everything else. It's interesting. So that's my daily gold. Now, my other gold chart here is another daily, but this is looking more um, outwards, right? Yeah. So this red zone here is a period of time where gold could find a rejection. and start to chill out. And the fractals are 5, 20, 30, and 40 year. So when we're looking at this after October 23rd, end of October, we can see here on the fractals that there is potential for some downside going into the December. And then it could potentially be a buy in December again. So, but the main point here is that in the current time, there could be a rejection soon. So it goes hand in hand with what I went over on the other chart for gold. Risk reward is, and to me, does not favor longs for gold currently. Uh, I want to try and short it though, because why would you try and short a trade like that? You could maybe dabble a little bit, but don't go too heavy on it. All right, so get into crypto now. Let's go over Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin dominance. We can do that later. Bitcoin right here. All right. So I got a 5 and 10 year fractal here. Um, Bitcoin is just really choppy in this top side range here. The purple is the 5 year, the orange is the 10 year. So Bitcoin over 114.8 is, no, that's really good. That would be really good. But it doesn't have to be. Currently, it's holding above this golden pocket here between 108 and 106. Okay, and also the bottom side of this range here at 107. All right. I have a bigger 50% level going from the April low to the current all-time high. As long as it's above that, which is at 100K, it I it's safe to say the bull market is still on. It's just in a choppy phase right now. Going off the 5 and 10 year though, I would expect some upside to come into Bitcoin within the next few days. Definitely getting into next week and end of October, I would expect some sort of upside coming in on Bitcoin going into November. All right. It's just with these fractals, these uh, or cycles, you can say too. That's what I like to say. Cycles, a 5 year cycle, 10 year cycle, and so on. It's about following the trajectory. Okay, it's not about pinpointing exact highs and lows. It's you want to be in the trend. You want to get the chunk of the move. So I'm more bullish than what fear and greed sentiment may show. And it's interesting how that works too with the timing of the market and everything. But yeah, this is my Bitcoin bias, I guess. I think it's a great opportunity right now. Let's just say that. Um, I'll go into total three underneath. So total three, I got a 5 year here. Can't do a 10 year yet. So just a 5 year, and it's really interesting how similar it lines up. So I put total three on the line chart too, um, just to make it a simple look because it's actually in a pretty good position. So in this range between 1.16 trillion and 924 billion, it's in the top side of this range ever so slightly. That dotted line where it's at, that's like the 50, the midpoint of it. And then the 50% of the correction from Friday, from the high to that crazy Friday dump, it's above that actually. So it's in a good position of strength, just choppiness right now. And if we're looking at the 5 year fractal, this happened before 5 years ago, and it looks similar. So a potential period of time where total three could really start going is potentially around November 21st. Um, Regardless, the trajectory is up in this top side range that it's in my opinion, is a great opportunity to maybe get into altcoin positions or look for them. Um, so that's Sol 3. Obviously, the bearish case for this would be breaking under this 50% and definitely breaking under 924 billion. If that happens, something more bearish is going on. But at current look, it's in a position of strength, and you can say the same thing with Bitcoin. Under that golden pocket and 50% at 100K, something more bearish is going on. But currently, it's it's fine. It's not doing that. Okay, now I'll get into Ethereum. That's ETH dominant, or ETH BTC. Sorry. So ETH here, I have a 5 year and a partial 10 year. So I couldn't. It doesn't go back all the way for a full 10 year cycle, but I got a partial 10 year and started it where it started 10 years ago, and it does line up. Okay, interestingly enough. So the blue is the 5, orange is the partial 10. Uh, Short term here, ETH has to get above 4269. That's a rejection point. It's resistance now, but it was previous a support. Um, yeah, that's the rejection level. 4269, ETH gets above that. I think it tests, almost 4800. Probably even is, if it gets over that level, I think it's trending to new highs. Um, And if we look here, again, similar to Bitcoin, within the next few days and definitely next week, I'm expecting ETH to get some upside action here. Definitely getting into November and the rest of Q4. And yes, these fractals do go into 2026. I didn't touch on that. I'm still debating in my head if I don't know if we have to see how Q4 goes. 2026 maybe could be good in the first part of Q1, maybe early part of Q2, but we'll get to that point when we get to that point. Right now, the trajectory is up in that midterm, the rest of Q4 outlook. All right, so that's what I'm trying to go over here. Um, so let's just take care of business uh, in this time period, so to say. Uh, but yeah, again, similar to Bitcoin and Total 3, it's in a choppy little phase right now, but it looks like it's presenting some opportunity here. It's getting into November and the rest of October. Second half of October is usually good, so it goes in hand with the seasonality. Uh, yeah, that's they're going to be pretty similar. Dogecoin, um, it's pretty damn choppy, and so this green zone I have here, that's like a opportunity time period area zone, whatever you want to call it. Where Doge could be a pretty decent buy going into the second half of November and onward, where there could be pretty good upside potential here. Um, and if you just look at the overall Doge chart, I'll turn everything off. I'll just go like the monthly logarithmic. It's just curving up. Yeah, we have that disgusting looking wick there, but what matters mainly is the closures. And as of right now, it's just a chart that's curving up. Some minor stocks actually look like this before they went haywire. Coinbase has a similar chart like this. There's plenty of charts like this this cycle that look like that. Uh, it's nice, just choppy and slow. You have to wait for the nice moments. Uh, yeah, Doge. So October 23rd through November 10th is a nice period of where um, it would be good to look for the buy side, the long side. All right, and again, this is all lining up with that VIX and IWM. They're all correlated. Gold chills out, crypto usually can go. So everything is correlated. All right, all the cycles are there. I have another Doge chart here. This is the daily. I'll go out to the weekly really quick and show you what this is. So this is just spider lines. All right, and I don't know why they work. They just do. Shout out to CryptoFace. He's the one that found these. I don't know if he's the original guy that found them, but he's the reason I know about it. So this is Doge, spider line, and so far this cycle, whenever Doge has tested the orange, right, to black, spider line area, it's been an amazing opportunity. All right, just looking at it, so momentum waves are, they're pretty deep. They the momentum is still negative currently, but it's in the area of interest support. So, price action is king and everything. Uh, just looking at it at face value like this, it's again opportunity, and we're getting into some key time periods in these cycles where stuff could start turning up eventually soon. Um, so it's just interesting. And if Doge continues to respect these spider lines bullishly, it would bounce from this area and then maybe come up to this top area in the higher 30s, mid 40 cents. And if it does break above that, then, level to level. Um, and I would think it does if the crypto cycle continues. Dogecoin is one of those coins with the most history and higher highs and higher bear market lows. So I would expect Doge to break above the current cycle highs around almost 50 cents and at least test that all-time high level of around like 73 cents and potentially even break above. Okay. Um, that's a little farther out, I guess you want to say. Just, looking at it here, great opportunity. And, your first targets could be the top side of this spider line range, so to say. All right. ETH BTC, pull that up. Then I'll get to Bitcoin dominance and Tether dominance. So I got a 5 and 10 year cycle, or partial 10 year again, but they do line up. All right, so ETH could be potentially be coming into a first, um, you know, interesting low period. Um, that's October 20th, and then November 6th, and then December 24th. So these 3 dates are low periods for Ethereum dominance, or ETH, sorry, not ETH dominance, ETH versus Bitcoin. Uh, I'm sure they're going to be like similar charts, but ETH BTC here. Um, and after December 24th, I expect strength. Now, ETH BTC could, go from here. I don't know, but just looking at the 5 and the 10 year, the trajectory is up after December. It could be more choppy until then. Okay, I can't tell the future. Currently, it's in the downtrend on the daily under this trend line. Okay, so until it breaks above that and follow through, it is in the downtrend. Okay, it's in a downtrend, but above a 50% from the April low to the current high of August. So holding above the 50% is really good. If it does break under, I have a Fibonacci support zone here between 2.7 and 2.3 on the ETH BTC. So it would still be fine. Now, if it gets under 2.3, then something else is going on. But above these supports, it's good. And just following the time here, uh, to this period between October 20th, December 4th, you can be picky and wait around these dates. That's what you probably should do. Um, could present good opportunity to have or pick up Ethereum and swing it when it could potentially outperform Bitcoin again. Okay. Bitcoin dominance. This is an interesting one. 5 and 10 year. Very similar charts here. So just looking at it, I do expect it to continue to have upside into November. All right, at least November 20th, November 1st through November 20th. That's like the bare minimum I expect it to have some strength. If it does go farther than that, it could be around January 2nd, to the beginning of January, until Bitcoin starts to fall off. All right. Um, so until after mid-November, I wouldn't expect Bitcoin dominance to fall off and for that crazy all season that everybody wants to happen. I do believe in all season. I do think it will happen, me personally, but not until these time periods pass on Bitcoin dominance. All right, and that could be maybe Q4. It could be Q1 of next year. All right, I don't know. and it also couldn't happen, but the cycles and the trends follow through what's happened in the past. I would expect it to go ahead and do its thing again. What just happened to my trading view? Oh my gosh. Am I gonna have to restart all this stuff? That's crazy. Please don't do me dirty like that, trading view. Oh my goodness. That's wild. Tether dominance too? Yep. Oh no. Whatever. I'll just do it for you here real quick. I'm tether dominance, so I'm gonna go back 5 years and do a partial 10 on this thing real quick for you guys. You can see what I do. It's nothing crazy. So 2020, where you at? Where you at? All right, there we go. Oh no, I have to start it again. It's right over here. All right, that sucks, man. I'm gonna have to start over all that shit. That is so annoying. It wasn't even training me. It was Brave. Actually, I can just go into this over. Oh, started January 1st. Come on. Boom. And I guess I'll leave it like that. All right. Partial 10 here. So, um, what the heck? I think I did it on the weekly before, but whatever. You can get the idea. All right, cool. So it did pop up. Just change that to orange. So quick. Sorry about Brave crashing. That's annoying. That sucks. All right. Oops. I have to. What the heck? Sorry, guys. All right, March 8th, 2015. March 8th. So March 8th, 2025. There we go. All right, so see, there's some decent similarities here. Um, I do think that this tether dominance peak here that it did on Friday, I do think that was the high on tether dominance. And then if you just like let me hide that, there's a weekly downtrend here. So and it tapped that too. All right, it ain't perfect, but you get the idea here. I'm on logarithmic, so let me change that. There we go. So, you know, weekly downtrend. It hit that to the T. Um, and then there's also the oscillators. Their extended levels. His, looking back to this cycle, that's where they've peaked before, right? So it's interesting. I do think tether dominance is going to drop like these fractals traject, right, into Q4. All right. Um, so yeah. that's what I was gonna go over. It didn't look like this. I had it on the weekly look, um, but Brave decided to crash, so that sucks. But yeah, if you stayed till the end here, thank you very much. I'll post this on YouTube, of course, and also my X or Twitter account. It's TSG0X. Follow me there. And yeah, good night, guys. See you in the next one.